The cis-Satluj states were a small group of states in the Punjab region of undivided Bharat. These were areas of Kalsia, Kaithal, Patiala state, Nabha state, Jind state, Thanesar, Malerkotla, Ludhiana, Kapurthala state and Ambala. The Sikh Empire under Raja Ranjit Singh also included lands north of the Satluj river and south of the northwestern Himalayas in the high valleys. Some of the major towns in the Sikh Empire at the time included Srinagar, Attock, Peshawar, Bannu, Rawalpindi, Jammu, Gujarat, Sialkot, Kangra and Amritsar. Now let's take a look at the second map. This second map actually exposes the real agenda of these Khalistani goons and who are operating out of Canada and America. It's Pakistan's K2 plot post the 1971 drubbing. Why? Because in 1971 Pakistan दो हिस्सों में पट गया. So they said that हम पट गए तो भारत को भी बांटना है. We got to break it. So where are we going to break it? On the borders closest to us. So they looked at two states, Punjab and Jammu and Kashmir. And that's where this entire K2, Kashmir and Khalistan agenda started. Now look at the Khalistan map. Nankana Sahib is not part of their list. It's outside. They don't want Nankana Sahib. Kartarpur corridor, Kartarpur Sahib, not spoken. Neither the entire Punjab Sahib and the Gilgit areas. All these areas which were in Pakistan and Afghanistan have been left out. Bharat's territorial sovereignty only is being targeted. So, shouldn't somebody turn around and ask, is this really a Sikh agenda? Is it really a Sikh nationalist agenda, as the narrative is? Or is it nothing but an anti-Bharat, anti-India agenda that you have chosen only those areas which are strategically important, not just for Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen, but also for the PLA, the CCP, the Chinese. But more importantly, those who claim to be adversaries on the global, the biggest adversaries of each other, China and Pakistan and America, seem to be backing this agenda, all with an eye to keep Bharat's growth trajectory at check, to keep Bharat unsettled. Now look at this. The Khalistan map leaves all of Pakistan that existed during the Sikh Empire in 1839 under Raja Ranjit Singh and includes everything which was outside the Sikh Empire. ये देखिए, this is the entire Sikh Empire. ये map है. This is a Sikh Empire. ये क्या मांग रहे हैं? This was never part of the Sikh Empire of the 1900s, of the 19th century. So if it was Sikh glory and the return to the glory of Sikh nationalism and where the Sikhs were, this is what they should have asked for. They're not asking for all of that. They're asking for territory that never belonged in the part of the Sikhs, Sikh lands. The sovereign territories of Bharat are the target, and not just Punjab. The secessionists want parts of Himachal Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand and Haryana. We are just putting it visually for you on this occasion of Diwali, Deepavali, because दिया जलाएंगे, दीप प्रज्वलित होगा और ये अंधेरा जो है, that will be dispensed. The ignorance perhaps largely of these, the Five Eyes nations who don't even understand what's being asked for, or perhaps they do. So then we will shine the light on them and expose this lot, saying what is it that their actual agenda is here. And that's the focus on this edition of the Right Stand, to call out all these narrative pushers of Sikh nationalism, etc., that there is nothing Sikh about this demand. It's only anti-Bharat, and that's the reason why it's only a handful, less than 2% of the total Sikh population across the whole world. And I am overestimating this number by saying 2%, and a lot of people will take umbrage to that. I'm giving the secessionists the benefit of doubt that they have at least 2% support. Many would say not even 1%. That's the reason why Sikhs electorally and otherwise across the world have rejected this. Look at it. This is the erstwhile, there you go, that's it. This is the erstwhile map. This was the Sikh Empire, ladies and gentlemen. That was the glory of the Sikh Empire under Raja Ranjit Singh. None of those parts are part of this entire discourse. And it's all under occupation of other nations, a large part of it. Has Gurpatwant Pannu ever asked Pakistan to leave Nankana Sahib and give Lahore as the capital? Lahore was the capital of the Sikh Empire. Has he ever asked a single word of the PLA saying, what about the occupied areas of Gilgit and Baltistan? We want all of that. Has he ever told the Taliban, we want all of these parts of Afghanistan? Has he ever said all of this? Mr. Justin Trudeau is standing up for these people, right? Jagmeet Singh, this is the map. Will you ask for these? Never have they uttered all of this. Joining us on this very special edition, Pandit Satish K. Sharma, author, Ramneek Singh Maan, activist, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, scientist, author, political commentator, and Ambassador Ashok Sajjanha, former Indian diplomat. Namaste, Jai Hind, and Shubh Deepavali to all of you, gentlemen.
Shubh Jai Shri Ram.
We all wanted to do, everybody is done. We've done some of the fun stuff also. But when it comes to Bharat, I can't take our eyes off. So this is why we said we'd want to do this. What is this entire fight and narrative pushing all about, Ramneek Maan? ये क्या सिक्खी है? कौन सी सिक्खी की बात कर रहे हैं ये लोग? What Sikh nationalism is this? Don't the Goras understand? When I say doesn't the West understand this? Don't the Americans understand this? Don't the Canadians understand this? Or should we just call their bluff altogether that this is nothing but an agenda against Bharat because we are on the growth path?
So, good evening, Anand, and a very happy Deepavali to all on the panel and everyone watching this exclusive broadcast. So, let me begin with saying this. Sakal jagat mein Khalsa panth gaje, jage dharm Hindu, Turk pand paje. So, this is where, I would like to begin today. So, this is something which has been going on for good 300, 400, 500 years that you need to wake up finally. You need to wake up finally, and Hindus have to finally wake up to the conspiracy, to the plot that has been going on forever now. As a matter of fact, conversion, what we see today in Punjab, conversion, the attack on Sikhi, began much earlier in time with the son of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, Maharaja Dalip Singh, and Rani Bamba. So Maharani Bamba is now resting in peace, if I may, as a Christian in Gora Qabristan in Lahore. So why Lahore is not a part of the Sikh Empire, if at all? And, the expanses of the Sikh Empire would, if I may remind you, there is a old Hindi movie called Sholay. Usme there is a dialogue, ke so jao beta varna Gabbar Singh aa jayega. The real one is, in chaste Pashto in Afghanistan, it says Chuksha Hari Singh Ragale.
Yeah.
So you keep quiet or Hari Singh Nalwa is going to come.
Yeah.
So that is the fear that the Sikhs had instilled in these Turks right to Afghanistan. And that's where our rule was, Sikh rule. Well, this of course is a political plot and has been fanned or initiated by the British and supported by the Pakistanis and the Chinese. Anything which is anti-India, anything which is anti-Sanatan, anything which is anti-Sikh is something which will be supported by the West and the Pakistanis. So let's be very clear on this. This is a pure political agenda. Otherwise, the cartographic map that you depict should actually show a very, very large part of Tibet, the Eastern Tibet, if I may, which was under Sikh rule. That's systematically the division of India. I would not call it Pakistan. It's actually West Punjab. That's my land. The vast areas of Gujranwala, that's where Maharaja Ranjit Singh was born, or Nankana Sahib, where Guru Nanak Sahib was born. These are all our areas. Rawalpindi, where you have this ISI headquarter, and the hills, the Patohar Hills, where Islamabad is located, is actually a Sikh territory, a pure Sikh territory. And as the name suggests, Raja Bappa Rawal established Rawalpindi. And Sindh was Raja Dahir's. I mean, looking at history, who are these people trying to fool? Sikhs like me. So I'll tell you, Anand, very short and brief and very, very crisp and quickly. Conversion, separatism, and Sikh isolation in the Indian society, the Indic society, and globally is their target. You push the Sikhs against the wall. You've done it in 47, you did it in 84, and you want to do it again in 2024. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So,
and thing
again, we're all united. We're all united, and कहते हैं ना ये बंद मुट्ठी में बहुत ताकत है, and they want to break us so that they can break India.
The point is, sir,
ultimate motive is not just Punjab. They want to balkanize India into small territories.
Correct.
So that it's easy to govern or rule over them.
No, sir, this balkanized Bharat is an agenda because the ghosts of 71 still haunt them. The ghosts
It
of
does,
70,
but also,
the
Anand,
embarrassment.
But also briefly, if I may add just 5 seconds, I was interacting with Panditji in Jaipur a few days back, and he was referring to an upcoming book of his where he says the world is the plantation. So the West is trying to plant itself over the world, and they want to rule the world by dividing it into smaller pieces and dividing the Indian society into caste, religion, language, or region.
See, that is something that we have to collectively call out together, and it's this history. Pandit Satish Sharma ji, before I bring in Dr. Ranganathan and Ambassador Sajanhar, Pandit Satish Sharma ji, how is this history lost on the current generation? Why is it that the Sikh narrative starts from 1984 onwards? And why has this been allowed? That's the biggest issue. Do the Sikhs in UK, do the Sikhs in Canada, do the Sikhs in America, do the Sikhs in Australia? I'm deliberately mentioning the Five Eyes, do the Sikhs in New Zealand know the history, know what was done with their ancestors, and who did it? The Abrahamic religions, both sides.
Yeah. Sat Sri Akal and Namaste and Jai Shri Ram to everybody. Just you mentioned history. I'm speaking as a Punjabi born in the Punjab. I have 14 generations of history recorded in the Punjab, almost 400 years. So I speak with a little bit of adhikar when I talk on this issue. This is my history that we're speaking about. And I've had this conversation with very young Sikhs in the United Kingdom who actually have got no connection to the reality of their history. And when I share with them that people like me exist, it's a shock for them. Punjab was always the land where Hindus defended Dharma in whatever way, shape or form. I have been to Manikarn Gurdwara. I have seen the way in which Sanatan Dharma infuses with Sikhi and with the traditions of the Gurus and everything else. And as long as the Dharma Shakti was flowing through the ideology and the blood of the Punjabis, the Punjabi Empire, the Sikh Empire flourished and thrived. But what we have seen is a betrayal of that history that you speak about. And it's a tragedy that there are too many of our youngsters who haven't understood the history, they haven't understood the brotherhood and the familial dimension of Sikhi and of Sanatan Dharma. And I said once in a conference at one of the most rabid Gurdwaras who are Khalistan in the United Kingdom, when a young man said to me, Panditji, you have a little bit of influence. Sikhi is separate to Sanatan Dharma. We want your help to isolate and separate the two. And I said, Bede ek kaam kar. What you are trying to do is separate red from blood. The day you can separate the color of blood from blood is the day in which we will be able to do something like this. They are one and the same. And this is the truth that has to be shared with people. One other thing that I think our historically deficient young generations don't realize is that it's a fundamental principle of Islamism that the Prophet was the last prophet. That after him there can have been no other prophets and no other voices of divinity. And so the Gurus, their very existence is anathema to the Islamists. The Islamists are doubly insulted that there is somebody claiming to have a connection with divinity and the Creator after their last prophet. So there are two dimensions there, and anybody who is connected with Sikhi, anybody who is connected with Khalistan should really reflect on who they're making a partnership with. It becomes readily apparent that our naive and very passionate youngsters from Punjab have been coerced, they have been groomed, they have been weaponized, and they are actually the bullet which is being placed on the shoulders of Sikh leaders, Khalistani leaders especially and exclusively, and the targeting being done by people who do not have Bharat's best interests in heart. You mentioned the Five Eyes have one common characteristic: Christian nationalism. Christian nationalism is at the heart of the Five Eyes agenda. If you look for one common denominator, you will find that there. It's inherently a racist idea. There isn't a leadership in there which is not white and which does not adhere to a apologies about the fireworks, which doesn't which doesn't adhere to that agenda.
True. The fact of the matter is, Pandit Satish Sharma ji and to our other panelists, that why is this history, the gory history, how Sikhs were culled, how they were wiped out from the face of today's Afghanistan and Pakistan, what was done to them is lost to this current generation. Why is it that a fake false narrative around 1984 is allowed to proliferate? And more importantly, how is it that adversaries like the PLA and the Five Eyes are joining issue with a nation which they believe is a bane on the face of this earth, and its agenda and its intelligence services, inter-services intelligence's agenda, Dr. Ranganathan? How is that possible?
Good evening, Anand, and good evening to my fellow panelists, all elder brothers, Pandit ji, former diplomat Ashok ji, and my friend, guide and philosopher Ramneek ji. Wish all of you a very happy Diwali. Thank you so much, Anand, for having me on this wonderful occasion. You know, you've single-handedly in your primer demolished decades of propaganda by Khalistanis and Pakistanis just by showing that visual representation that I can still see on the screen. So A, congratulations for that. But B, by showing that one single map of Maharaja Ranjit Singh's territory, you've, as I said, demolished, column yards of whatever trash is being doled out by the apparatchiks or the people who are on the payrolls of ISI and Khalistanis. But can I add to that before I come to the other point? I have two brief points to make. You showed Maharaja Ranjit Singh's territory and his map. I would like to show you Maharaja Ranjit Singh's flag. Here it is in all its glory. And can you see
Can you
something?
go full frame on that, please? Yeah.
Yes, here it is.
This is Ma
And
Kali.
if you can see,
Ma Bhagavati.
Ma
There is
Bhagavati,
Ma
Durga,
Bhagavati.
yes.
there is Durga, Ma Durga, there is Shivji, Lord Shiva, and there is Lord Hanuman. Now, this is what ideally should be tweeted by the Prime Minister and the President of India. And I get very embarrassed when people draw a distinction between Sikhs and Hindus. I am a Sikh. I get offended when people draw this distinction, to be very honest, because they are not Ramneek ji's gurus, the 10 gurus and Guru Granth Sahib, they are my gurus. There is absolutely no distinction. The Sikhs emerged to fight and protect us.
Yes.
Because they were protected by Ma Durga and Lord Hanuman and Lord Shiva. This is the truth. And the reason why people don't want Sikhs and the Hindus to unite and be one is because they are scared. Because they were scared, as Ramneek ji said, he drew the parlance with Sholay, the famous quip. The fact of the matter is, this is the reason why Pakistanis and Khalistanis on their payroll don't want the Sikhs and Hindus to be one. They are one. So I think this narrative has been completely demolished, not only by the map but by the flag. But the fact of the matter is, please do not worry about these false and fake narratives being spread, because the truth will always come out. As Khushwant Singh said, if you were to remove Hinduism from Guru Granth Sahib, the only thing that would left would be the book spine. And he's absolutely right. There is no distinction. I am a Sikh. They are my gurus. I repeat that again at the risk of annoying some people. The second thing I would like to say is, why I don't worry about these false narratives, Anand, is because, look, do people worry about Ethiopia being a superpower? With due respect to Ethiopia or Eritrea or Maldives or Mauritius? No. We are a growing superpower, emerging superpower, a powerful nation economically as well as in other fields. So obviously we will have enemies. These things don't bother me, because if we are on the growth path, we will have enemies. As I said, Eritrea is not an enemy. There is no false narrative or propaganda against Eritrea or against Maldives. But there is one against India. And there is a reason for that. So this is not to be something to be worried about. In a very strange way or bizarre way, you can say this is something to be proud of. That people are peddling these false narratives because they are scared of us. They are worried of us. As long as Indians know what is the truth.
Correct.
And the truth is this. The truth is that I am a Sikh. Ramneek is a Hindu. There is no difference. The Sikhs were protected by Ma Durga. That is why they were born to protect us.
Beautifully said. And I think that's the crux. It's not about being worried about those threatened by us or them trying to push us down or try to leave us unsettled. The worry is that this current generation, across the board, is being delinked from our history. The narrative has been allowed to be set by those who are criminals, gangsters, louts, lumpens, and sold out to the enemy. And the enemy is ganging up with those who are using this as a tool to try and leave us unsettled. Ambassador Ashok Sajanar, thank you for your patience, and I'm coming to you last because, sir, this is a state policy. This has to be a part of statecraft, where we not only set the narrative right, but we also ensure people remember the history, the true facts and the true assets of our itihas. Not mythology, not myths or falsitudes that are being peddled by the narrative pushers.
Yeah, thank you very much, Anand. Thank you very much for having me on your show. This is a stupendous opportunity, and let me also take this opportunity of wishing you, all my distinguished eminent panelists, and all those who are watching and listening to this program, the very best of health, happiness, prosperity on this joyous and auspicious occasion of Deepavali. I think you have taken a very important subject to discuss on this significant occasion. And you have made such a compelling case, by showing these two maps, and all the three panelists, whatever they have said, they have added so much substance. I think, let me make just 2 or 3 comments before I come to, the geopolitical factors as to why this is happening the way in which it is happening. What you mentioned, Anand, that it is has to be the state policy, it has to be the government policy. I think it has to be really not only an all of government approach, but it has to be all of a society approach, because all of us have to get together. What has been mentioned by Anand just now, that we are not worried if the country knows it. I think the country knows only what we are discussing here, only those people. It has to percolate, it has to go down, it has to get assimilated, it has to get spread out to all these, and it will not be done by one program. It has to be repeated, if it has to find space in the minds of the people, it has to be repeated over and over and over again. So I think we really have to do that, and we have to bring to the attention of the people. It has to be done by the media, it has to be done by the government, it has to be done by the scholars, it has to be done by the academics, it has to be done in schools. I think that is where it needs to be done, really, to take it around. I am not afraid. I agree with what Anand says, but I think our progress is going to be much quicker. Our progress is going to be much faster if there are not these shackles that are put on my feet and my legs and ankles that keep drawing me back. Because, if my country has to become Viksit Bharat in 2047, what I really need to do is have a strong defense, have a strong economy, and have a strong social cohesion domestically. And this is what is unfortunately destroying it. Now, coming to the geopolitics of it very quickly, it is the wicked design of ISI, of Pakistan, etc., that is finding resonance in the personal agendas of some of these other countries, which might otherwise not be favorably inclined towards Pakistan, but they find that this agenda meets in with their own narratives. For instance, as far as Canada is concerned, Mr. Justin Trudeau is concerned, I think it's not that he doesn't know whose game plan it is, but that game plan of the ISI fits in very nicely with his own game plan of reaching out to the Khalistani terrorists, and for that to vilify and to malign India, fits in very well with his strategy. It does not fit in with his strategy that he should take action against the ISI, that he should take action against what Pakistan is doing in that. He could do that, he should do that. It is beneficial for his country. It is not beneficial for him personally. for Justin Trudeau and for the Liberal Party personally. As far as the Americans are concerned, they also, I think, find it a very convenient tool, a very convenient instrument to keep India in check. And of course, as far as the PLA and CCP is concerned, it is meets their requirements also, their needs also. So we have seen certain other cases on recent developments on the eastern part of our country, Anand, very recently, where changes have taken place. And there also we see that the nefarious activities and the inimical activities of some of the countries in our region to the north of us and of course of the United States, they unfortunately find they are juxtaposed because their interests meet. Although they are totally on the opposite sides of the spectrum, but for short-term gains, they are coming together. We have to be mindful, we have to be watchful, we have to push against that.
Sir, the thing is, sir, that we are mindful and we are watchful. We don't do the latter. We don't push against it and we don't try and diffuse whatever is trying to be brewed, and we don't try and go and create keep them unsettled. That's part of our statecraft. Even in the Shanti Parva, we can see in the Mahabharata, that's exactly what Bhishma tells Yudhishthira in terms of statecraft. You have to keep not just an eye on your enemy, but you have to keep your enemy unsettled and ensure that those who are inimical to you remain weak and they are never able to plot against you. But we allow them to grow, we allow them to feed. 30 years we've allowed all of this to grow on. And look at this, last 10 years, what have we done to quell this narrative? We've not been able to reset our history. How many people actually knew what is the size of Raja Ranjit Singh's empire? How many people actually knew what was the totem pole and what was the flag post of Raja Ranjit Singh? Who sat on his flag? The greatest of the Sikh, Rajas and kings who still celebrated. How many people took umbrage and how much umbrage did India take when Raja Ranjit Singh's mahal was desecrated and his statue was done down with? Where is it that we stood up? These are things. Ramnik Man and then Pandit Satish Sharma. One by one. Yes, Ramnik Man put his hand up and then Pandit Ji.
Essentially, Anand, you will be now addressed to as ambassador of Akhanda Bharat, because you put up a map of Sikh Empire, including the Indian subcontinent, if I may. This amounts to Akhanda Bharat. So people are going to be chasing you with a stick. Anand, so that is one to begin with. On a lighter note though, but
sir, I have no problems if they chase me with a stick, as long as they turn that stick and chase anybody who's abusing any Bharatiya. I am all right with that.
Anand will also be applauded. Anand will be applauded very much by people. Yes.
Sikhi is the strong arm of Sanatan. Sikhi is the sword of Sanatan. So they want to break Sikhi away from Sanatan so that eventually they can break Sanatan, because it is clearly mentioned what Ghaswe Hind is, and they want to rampage over this subcontinent and establish a rule of their own, forgetting the past. And unfortunately, many of the Sikhs, if I may, actually I can't refer to them as Sikhs. Honestly, Mahapagoti, when you talk about the Sikh prayers, the first thing we say is Pratham Pagauti Simar Ke Guru Nanak Lai Dhyaye. So we begin the prayer with Pagauti.
Yeah.
So when you begin your prayers with Pagauti, if you go through the Dasam Granth, Guru Gobind Sahib's Pasha has done extensive work, and when we go to war, we say Deh Shiva Brahmo hai Subh Karmante Kabhu na talu aur sau jab jaye ladu nischay kar apni jeet karu. So I mean, if you need to go through these texts and scriptures written by none other than Guru Gobind Sahib Sache Paatshah, who established the Khalsa Panth. And the motive of Khalsa Panth is where I began the debate from. Sakal Jagat mein Khalsa Panth gaje, jage dharm Hindu, Turk Pand paje. So what the current dispensation of the people in political power are trying to do is trying to wake up Hindus. So 350 years plus, Guru Gobind Sahib did the exact same. He was trying to awaken Hindus. When he says Jage Dharm Hindu Turk Pand Paje, the cause of establishment of Khalsa Panth was very clear. So that's why I always mention the Khalsa Panth, the Sikhi is the strong arm of Sanatan. We are the sword of Sanatan. And when you take the right arm away, when you take the sword away, when you disarm somebody, that is when you can hit them either in the face
you
or in the
render them
back.
weak. You render them weak and vulnerable. Very well said. We seem to have a Kumbhakarna plus Hanuman syndrome before Jambavan came and woke him up. And in the case of Kumbhakarna, हम सोते रहते हैं, हमें बार-बार जगाना पड़ता है as a society, as a samaj. But and this cycle tends to repeat itself. Pandit Satish Sharma, I've run out of time, but quickly, yes, Panditji.
Very quickly, we have 3 nails to drive into this coffin of a lie that has been perpetrated. Your graph, your image is the first nail. The second nail is what Anandji has shared, which is the flag of the empire. The third is from Guru Gobind Singh Ji's own words. He gave us the Brahm Kavach, which is the mantra given to the Khalsa. And in there is one line where he is talking to the sword and he says, Shakti Brahmani Vaishnavi Bhavani Tu Talwar Hai. He invokes all of the Shaktis and asks for them to reside in his sword and empower him to fight adharma. And those 3, I think, should be the beginning and the end of any conversation with any Khalistani. We should ask them to enter into a conversation about those 3. If they can get past those 3, then we might have something to talk about. But
Right.
I think today we've achieved a Trimurti, a divine Trimurti, which I think will help everybody who wants to explore this initiative. So,
Well,
Jesse-
let's not say Trimurti, let's say Trishul. And I think that's what we need to fight this narrative war, that we need this Trishul. The map, the flag and the Brahm Kavach lyrics that you said. I just want to quickly show to our viewers the flag that Anand Raghunathan showed us. This is what our teams pulled out. See, look at this. This is Ma Bhavani. This is Devi Durga there, right there with all and out there to fight the war. And that's Hanumanji and that's Shivji with the Trishul. And there he is. So this is the flag of Raja Ranjit Singh, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if this is not enough of a takedown of this entire false narrative that's being peddled, then what is? It's just that we need to disseminate the right information so that the legs of these lies are chopped and they don't get a free run like they have over the past few years. On this note of this light, and also the words of the Brahm Kavach, may all of you look at it, read it, and remember our history, our itihasa. Thank you very much for joining us on this very special broadcast. Namaste.
एकता दिवस पर सभी देशवासियों को बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं। साथियों, इस बार का राष्ट्रीय एकता दिवस अद्भुत संयोग लेकर आया है। एक तरफ आज हम एकता का उत्सव मना रहे हैं, वहीं दूसरी तरफ दीपावली का भी पावन पर्व है। दीपावली दीपों के माध्यम से पूरे देश को जोड़ती है, पूरे देश को प्रकाशमय कर देती है। और अब तो दीपावली का पर्व भारत को दुनिया से भी जोड़ रहा है। अनेक देशों में इसे राष्ट्रीय उत्सव की तरह मनाया जा रहा है। मैं देश और दुनिया में बसे सभी भारतीयों को, भारत के शुभचिंतकों को दीपावली की अनेक अनेक शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। साथियों, इस बार का एकता दिवस एक और वजह से भी विशेष है। आज से सरदार पटेल का 150वां जन्म जयंती वर्ष शुरू हो रहा है। आने वाले 2 वर्षों तक देश सरदार पटेल की 150वीं जन्म जयंती का उत्सव मनाएगा। ये भारत के प्रति उनके असाधारण योगदान के प्रति
Namaste, Jai Hind and welcome. I'm sitting across a person whose body of work itself is a case study in itself. उनकी एक एक पिक्चर, एक एक फ्रेम में आप देखें तो कुछ सीखने को मिलता है. And he's somebody who believes कि लाइफ में कुछ भी हो सकता है. पर अनुपम खेर जी नमस्ते.
नमस्ते.
Now,
नमस्ते.
ये कुछ भी हो सकता है में आप ट्रायथलॉन करेंगे कभी आपने सोचा था?
नहीं, पर इसीलिए तो कुछ भी हो सकता कहलाता है. अगर पता हो कि आप क्या करने वाले हैं, मगर ये थॉट प्रोसेस में होना चाहिए कि जिंदगी में कुछ भी हो सकता है. पर ट्रायथलॉन मेरे पास कोई लेकर आएगा 68 की उम्र में अबाउट ए मैन हु इज 69, ये तो मैंने कभी नहीं सोचा था. सो व्हेन अक्षय रॉय, राइटर डायरेक्टर ऑफ विजय 69, जो लेकर आए मेरे पास ये कहानी, और जब मैंने कहानी पढ़ी तो मुझे लगा कि मेरी अपनी ज़िंदगी की पैरेलल कहानी भी यही है. क्योंकि क्या होता है, दुनिया की, समाज की पूरी कोशिश होती है कि आपको एक ढर्रे में बांधा जाए, आपको स्लॉट किया जाए, सो दैट दे फील कंफर्टेबल अबाउट इट.
करेक्ट.
कि यार ये अभी 400 फिल्में 500 फिल्में कर चुका है, अब इसको वेटरन बुलाना शुरू कर देते हैं, थेस्पियन ये सब बुलाना शुरू करते हैं, फिर इसको एक लाइफ टाइम अचीवमेंट अवार्ड देते हैं, फिर ही विल वॉक इनटू द सनसेट.
हाँ, शेल्फ में रख देंगे.
शेल्फ में रख देंगे और इसको निपटाएंगे, नेक्स्ट आदमी को ढूंढेंगे. ये मेरे साथ चल रहा था, इसलिए आई यूज्ड टू ऑलवेज कॉन्स्टेंटली से डोंट कॉल मी ऑफ दिस, और फॉर नेक्स्ट 20 years डोंट थिंक ऑफ गिविंग मी एन लाइफ टाइम अचीवमेंट अवार्ड. फिर जब ये स्क्रिप्ट आया अबाउट ए 69-year-old मैन हु was looking at the report card of his life and he discovered that he has not done anything in life which can be called achievement. हालांकि मिडिल क्लास जो हमारी देश की 90% जो है, हम उनकी इस बात को मानते ही नहीं कि उन्होंने एक परिवार को बड़ा किया, बच्चों को बड़ा किया, उनको पढ़ाई कराई, उनकी शादी करी, उनके अपने नाते पोते पोतियों के साथ खेले. वो सबसे बड़ी अचीवमेंट है.
करेक्ट.
बट दैट इज़ नॉट कंसिडर्ड टू बी एन अचीवमेंट इन अ नॉर्मल लाइफ. और विजय 69 को लगता है कि मेरी अचीवमेंट ये है कि मैं अपनी सोसाइटी का सेक्रेटरी हूँ, या मैं डांस अच्छा करता हूँ, मैं उधार जो पैसे लेता हूँ वो टाइम पे वापस करता हूँ, तो मैंने हासिल क्या किया. एंड देन ही वॉज वंस अपॉन ए टाइम अ ब्रॉन्ज मेडलिस्ट व्हेन ही वॉज अ यंग 21-year-old मैन. एंड ही सेज मैं कुछ ऐसा करना चाहता हूँ. वो इंटरनेट पे सर्च करता है कि 60 से ऊपर तक लोगों ने क्या क्या किया है. तो एक चांद पे पहुंच गया एक आदमी. करेक्ट. एक आदमी ने कुछ वेट लिफ्टिंग में बहुत कुछ किया है. एक आदमी ने 20-80 साल की उम्र में बच्चा पैदा किया है. फिर ये कहता है कि स्विमिंग से जुड़ा हुआ क्या ढूंढ सकता हूँ. एंड ही वांट्स टू बी द ओल्डेस्ट मैन टू पार्टिसिपेट इन अ ट्रायथलॉन. एंड ट्रायथलॉन यू विल नो, बट फॉर योर व्यूअर्स it's a 1.5 kilometers of swimming, 40 kilometers of cycling and 10 kilometers of running. So मुझे तैरना आता नहीं.
Correct, you are hydrophobic, correct?
Yes, I am hydrophobic, and Akshay did mention it to me that कोई बात नहीं, will manage cinematic brilliance को इस्तेमाल करेंगे, VFX करेंगे. But then I said, when I have no right to call it my parallel story, I have to learn. And I was very happy to have my coach Farzan, wonderful coach. And पहले तो मेरा डर निकला पानी का, और फिर मैंने असली में तैरना सीख लिया in 4 months time.
So I should not say it, but a little late in your life you've learned a vital life skill, because swimming is a life skill. कि भाई कुछ भी हो आपको तैरना आना चाहिए. That's the.
अच्छा, हम जहाँ पैदा हुए वहाँ तैरने की तो बात ही नहीं. पहाड़ में पैदा हुए थे, कोई तालाब भी नहीं होता था कि उसमें कूद जाएं. और अब तो मैंने सोचा ही नहीं था कि मैं जिंदगी में कभी सीख पाऊंगा. 68 की उम्र में मैंने कहा बाकी चीजें करूंगा, ये तैरना कौन सीखेगा.
So let me ask you, since you're playing someone almost your age, now this is not a Saransh kind of thing where a 28-29-year-old is playing a 55-56-year-old. In this case, you're 68, you're playing a 69-year-old.
I'm 69 now when the film is releasing.
So film is releasing, you're 69. So why did you have to give yourself a caricaturish look? Why not play yourself? Why not play who you are like
because
you are
I
right
didn't
now?
want people to say it's Anupam Kher who is playing the role of Vijay Matthews. I wanted people to know that it is somebody called Vijay Matthew. Because if you see the film, you saw the trailer, if you see the film, after about 5-7 minutes of the film, you will forget that it's Anupam Kher who is playing the role of Vijay Matthews. ऐसे बहुत सारे रोल हैं जो मैं अपने गेटअप में करता हूँ.
Correct.
बट इसका कोई मतलब नहीं है। ये अनुपम खेर है, अब ये स्विमिंग कर रहा है, अनुपम खेर दौड़ रहा है, तो फिर कैरेक्टराइजेशन का क्या होगा? And he is exaggerated version of himself.
Yeah, okay.
He's not your regular my father type of middle class man who you see on the streets of it. He's angry. He uses foul language. He's frustrated. But that's what he keeps him in the edge.
So he's slightly OTT.
He can be, and the film is on OTT.
OTT. So
And also, I feel that when I was 28 and I played a 65-year-old man in Saransh, I am 69 and I'm playing a 69-year-old man, but I'm using the energy of a 28-year-old boy. Because it's very important to project that. It's very important to find that energy. हम ना लोगों को सरकार तो नौकरी से रिटायर करती है और घर वाले जिंदगी से रिटायर करते हैं। जब मेरे फादर 58 के हुए और वो रिटायर हुए तो घर वाले कहते हैं अच्छा अब आप रिटायर हो गए, अब आप घर पे बैठिए, अब आप कहीं मत जाइए। पर मुझे लगता है 58 में तो आपको एहसास होता है कि ज़िंदगी क्या है।
करेक्ट
है कि नहीं? तो ये उस बात से झगड़ा करता है ये आदमी। और फिर क्या होता है दैट यू विल सी इन द फिल्म।
ट्रू, बट लेट मी आस्क यू, हाउ मच ऑफ इट वाज अ ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन फॉर यू आल्सो? बिकॉज पिछले 2-3 साल से आप इसकी तैयारी कर रहे हैं, 1-1.5 साल से तो कर ही रहे हैं, उसके बीच में हमारी आपकी मुलाकात हुई है, तो कभी आप
I was not consciously preparing for Vijay 69. I was in that zone where I wanted to look different.
Okay.
मुझे लगा कि अब मुझे अगर अलग किस्म की फिल्में करनी है तो मैं शारीरिक रूप से भी अलग लगना चाहिए। Even if I am to play an old man, I must do it with the energy of a young person.
पर शरीर नहीं कहता था क्या कर रहे हो यार, जरूरत क्या है?
शरीर वही कहता है जो आपका मन उसको कहता है कहने के लिए। ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, मैं तो एक्टिंग कर रहा हूँ ना। मैं ये तो नहीं कह रहा कि मैं कुछ ऐसा बहुत बोझ ढो रहा हूँ और समथिंग लाइक दैट। ये तीनों चीज़ें पॉसिबल है। यंग से यंग लोग भी स्विमिंग करते हैं और ओल्ड से ओल्ड लोग भी स्विमिंग करते हैं।
Correct.
आपने खुद ही अभी शो से पहले बताया था कि आपके मोहल्ले में कोई 70 साल के नौजवान हैं जो सुबह रोज़ आपको भागते हुए मिलते हैं।
जी।
मुंबई में भी बहुत सारे लोग भागते हुए मिलते हैं। बहुत सारे लोगों को मैं हमेशा ये सोचता हूँ कि किसी भी देश के जो प्रेसिडेंट हैं या प्राइम मिनिस्टर हैं, हेड ऑफ द स्टेट हैं, हम कभी ये नहीं कहते यार ये तो 70 के ऊपर हैं, ये इतने सारे लोगों पर का जीना जो है वो कैसे संभालते हैं। एक्टर की होने की खासियत ये है कि आप अगर आपका मानसिक और शारीरिक रूप सही रहे, संतुलित रहे, तो आप कुछ भी कर सकते हैं।
नहीं, पर मैं आपसे ये जानना चाहता हूँ कि जब आप इस प्रोसेस में घुसे, आपने कहा कि चलो मुझे विजय मैथ्यू का किरदार लेना है, बट जैसा आपने कहा ना लोग आपको ब्रैकेट करने लगते हैं, वैसे ही आपका शरीर, आपका दिमाग भी आपको धीरे धीरे ब्रैकेट करने लगता है। तो कई बार ऐसा होता होगा सुबह उठ के यार ये मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, व्हाई डू आई हैव टू पुट माई सेल्फ थ्रू दिस टॉर्चर? कभी आपने ये सोचा?
अ यंग पर्सन, यू आर मच यंगर देन मी, आपसे मैंने पूछा कि आप फिट कैसे रहते हैं, माइंड तो यंग आदमी को भी बोलता है
करेक्ट
यार छोड़ना, आज जिम नहीं जाता हूँ, नहीं करता हूँ, बिकॉज दैट्स व्हाट, बट यू हैव टू सॉर्ट ऑफ टू बिकम from ordinary to extraordinary, you have to do that little extra. And that's what you make it because of your attitude in life, not because of your hard work only. तो इस रोल के लिए अगर मुझे तारीफ करवानी है लोगों से या अपनी लाइफ को किसी को मापदंड बनाना है तो मुझे कुछ तो एक्स्ट्रा करना पड़ेगा।
तो ये अधिकांश पूरी पिक्चर भारत में ही शूट हुई है?
हाँ, भारत में ही शूट हुई है, भाईंदर में शूट हुई
भाईंदर में शूट हुई है। तो मैं आपसे नहीं पूछूंगा कि हाल फिलहाल में आप विदेश गए हैं तो फिर कैसा आपको माहौल लग रहा है कि भारत के बारे में क्या चर्चा ज्यादा हो रही है?
भारत इज ऑन द राइज, भारत तो झंडे गाड़ रहा है हर जगह। भारत पे क्या क्या मजेदार चीजें हो रही हैं इस समय।
पर इस तरह की जो सब्जेक्ट आपने उठाई, इसको आजकल हम OTT पे देखते हैं, यानी प्लेटफॉर्म्स लाइक नेटफ्लिक्स, अमेजॉन, अदर्स। अब ये तो आप नेटफ्लिक्स पे आ रही है, ऐसा क्यों है कि ये बड़े पर्दे पर नहीं चल रही?
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है।
या फिर OTT पे आपको एक लीवे है कि आप कुछ भाषा का एक है या एक जो आपने कहा एग्जैजरेशन है, उसको आप व्यक्त कर सकते हैं थोड़ा ज्यादा, अभिव्यक्ति की आज़ादी थोड़ी ज़्यादा है।
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है। आई थिंक 190 कंट्रीज में ये फिल्म नेटफ्लिक्स के जरिए दिखाई जाएगी, नंबर 1। दूसरा, ये फिल्म की खासियत है कि YRF का एक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है कि हम कुछ आपके लिए प्रोग्राम्स बनाएंगे। तो पिछले 3 उन्होंने 2 फिल्में बनाई, 2 उन्होंने सीरीज़ बनाए, और ये पहले से ही पता था कि ये OTT पे जाने वाली है। कोई ऐसा इसके बारे में नहीं था। और मैं एक्टर हूँ, ये फिल्म पर्दे पे लगे या OTT पे आए, मुझे तो फायदा है कि OTT पे 190 देश के लोग देखेंगे इसको।
बट अप्रोच में कोई फर्क दिखता है? जैसे अगर आप मान लीजिए हिंदी सिनेमा के लिए कुछ कर रहे हैं, आप दक्षिण में कुछ कर रहे हैं, आपने तो वहाँ पर भी तेलुगु सिनेमा भी किया, और फिर आप
नहीं, कोई अप्रोच में कोई डिफरेंट नहीं है। एक्टिंग तो
प्रोडक्शन नहीं प्रोडक्शन वैल्यूज, कैमरा,
इसकी प्रोडक्शन वैल्यू कमाल की है।
आई एम जस्ट आस्किंग यू एज अ
No, I don't think that is at all the case. You make a film from the point of view of the director, from his vision point of view, how he has written. I'm sure when Akshay wrote this film, he was not thinking that this film is going to be made for Netflix or for any other OTT platform or cinema hall. He made it. It's a director's vision. आप आज अगर गॉडफादर टीवी पे देखते हो तो आपको डिफरेंट थोड़ा नजर आती है। अगर आप पुरानी फिल्में बड़ी गॉन विद द विंड या साउंड ऑफ म्यूजिक छोटे पर टेलीविजन पे देखते हो छोटी, तो आपको उसकी ग्रेटनेस कम थोड़ा लगती है।
आपको ऐसा लगता है कि जो व्यूअर है, जो आपने जो किया है, जैसे विजय 69 को कंज्यूम करता है या करती है, दे हैव नाउ गॉटन इनटू अ प्लेस वेयर दे आर नॉट बॉदर्ड अबाउट द साइज ऑफ द स्क्रीन, बट दे आर मोर इम्पोर्टेंट इज द
कंटेंट,
not along with the content, the privacy, the choice of when they can watch it and where they can watch it.
I personally feel cinema will always have its magic. It will go through tough times. It went through tough times when VHS came. It went through tough time when CDs came. It went through tough times. अभी क्या हो गया है कि अभी there is not only one single source of entertainment. Now there are malls, multiplexes, shopping, mobile, apps, etc. Cinema makers, filmmakers have to do something extra to get the audience to the theatre.
मैं आपसे एज एन एक्टर नहीं पूछ रहा हूँ, एज एन ऑब्जर्वर पूछ रहा हूँ, एज एन ऑथर पूछ रहा हूँ, एज समबडी हु लुक्स एट सोसाइटी एंड लर्न्स फ्रॉम देम। क्या आज हमारा समाज थोड़ा सा और इंट्रोवर्टिश हो गया है इस तरीके से कि अब हम लोग बाहर जाके लोगों के बीच में और कम्युनिटी में कम करना चाहते हैं, और अपने कन्वीनियंस के हिसाब से जब हमें लगता है हम देखना चाहते हैं, जैसे गाड़ी में जा रहे हैं 2 घंटे का सफ़र है ट्रैफिक में, तब हमने देख ली पिक्चर, rather than going to a theatre, sitting with people who you don't know, having popcorn and saying hi hello and trying to make connections. अब वो नहीं, अब ये चाहिए। ऐसा आपको लग रहा है एक चेंज है बिहेवियर?
मिक्स्ड फीलिंग्स हैं इसके बारे में। आई थिंक दैट्स व्हाई आई वाज ट्राइंग टू टेल यू दैट सिनेमा का मैजिक कम नहीं होगा, बिकॉज सिनेमा जाना एक प्रथा है। हाँ, एक फैमिली आउटिंग है। आप बाहर जाते हैं, जैसे होटल में खाना खाते हैं, क्या घर पे खाना नहीं बनता है? करेक्ट। आप इसके बावजूद बाहर जाते हैं। आप 10 दिन पहले डिसाइड करते हैं कि आप कोई फिल्म देखनी है, आप लाइन में खड़े होते हैं में, या फिर आप अपने ऑनलाइन बुक करते हैं, फिर आप समोसा आप पॉपकॉर्न खरीदते हैं, 4 लोगों को लेके जाते हैं। बट ऑडियंस जब सिनेमा घर पे फिल्म देखती है, दे हैव द लग्जरी ऑफ स्विचिंग इट ऑफ, दे हैव द लग्जरी ऑफ पुटिंग इट ऑन ए पॉज। आप अपना बेस्ट एक्सप्रेशन दे रहे हो और वो कोई कह रहा है यार वो पकड़ाना जरा, वो बैंगन का भरता उधर पकड़ाना। दैट्स व्हाई आई थिंक you have to do films where audience does not move, and the only way you can engage them is an emotional engagement. वो इमोशनल एंगेजमेंट कॉमेडी से भी होती है, आपके आंसुओं से भी होती है। मेरी हाल ही में एक फिल्म थी द सिग्नेचर जी, उसमें वो बहुत सैड फिल्म थी, ट्रेजिक, बट उसको जो ऑडियंस ने प्यार दिया वो अनबिलीवेबल है,
तो क्योंकि इंटेंसिटी थी और
इंटेंसिटी थी। सो इट विल अलाउ फिल्म मेकर्स टू मेक फिल्म्स which will not divert the attention of the audience. मैंने एक शो अभी आ रहा है शोगन करके, उसको 18 एमीज मिले हैं। मजाल है उसके 8 एपिसोड या 10 एपिसोड देखते हो, मेरी ज़रा सी भी ना, मैं थोड़ी सी टाइम होता था फिर मैं देखता था। सो यू आर बेसिकली बीइंग फोर्स्ड टू डू ब्रिलियंट वर्क, दैट्स हाउ आई लुक एट इट। OTT प्लेटफॉर्म पे कम से कम मटेरियल होगा, कुछ हजारों करोड़ों फिल्में सीरीज होंगी। व्हाई डू ओनली फ्यू बिकम ट्रेंडिंग नंबर 1 to 10? बहुत सारे लोग तो देखते ही नहीं, किसी को याद ही नहीं है। सो उसके लिए थोड़ी मेहनत तो करनी पड़ेगी।
मेहनत तो
एज एन एक्टर मेहनत तो 40 साल तक किस तरह कैसे बरकरार रहा? करेक्ट, वरना मुझे तो अपना मेरा तो खत्म, मुझे बहुत सारे लोग आए और चले गए मेरे रहते।
वो तो है।
मैं इसलिए बिकॉज I kept reinventing myself. I kept making myself modern. Modern means relevant of today's time. जी, वो बहुत ज़रूरी है।
अभी आज के समय की बात की तो ये त्योहार का वक्त है, दीपावली के समय में इसकी रिलीज भी हो रही है ठीक दीपावली के बाद। So what's your message for the viewers for Deepavali? Let me turn it around and ask you.
मेरा message, don't treat your parents as cliches. ये हमारे यहाँ बहुत होने लगा है। ये जो जेनजी, आई हैव ग्रेट रिगार्ड्स फॉर जेनजी, आई हैव ग्रेट रिगार्ड्स फॉर टुडेज जनरेशन, बट दे समटाइम डू द, जैसे हमारे, मैं हमेशा बोलता हूँ ये एक्टर एक्टिंग की एक्टिंग कर रहा है
जी,
वो जेनजी की एक्टिंग करते हैं कि इट्स नॉट इम्पॉर्टेंट। आई थिंक इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। दिवाली इज़ अबाउट एल्डर्स, दिवाली इज़ अबाउट अंधकार के ऊपर प्रकाश की जीत है। इट्स अबाउट गुडनेस। इट्स नॉट, coolness is not necessarily being irreverent. I think being honest is very cool. Being punctual is very cool. Being compassionate is very cool. I think
so how do you celebrate Deepavali?
मैं पूजा करता हूँ।
हाँ,
ऑफ कोर्स बाकायदा पूरी 1 घंटा पूजा होती है। पंडित जी आते हैं, पूजा करते हैं, लक्ष्मी की पूजा करते हैं, भगवान की पूजा करते हैं। बिकॉज पूजा मेरे ख्याल से एकाग्र मन को एकाग्र करने के लिए की जाती है। और फिर कभी थोड़े बहुत फुलझड़ी जला दी या पटाखे जला दिए। बट मेरा जैसे जैसे वक्त आता चला गया है, बड़ा होता चला गया है, उम्र बढ़ती गई है, वैसे वैसे दैट सेलिब्रेशन हैज़ बिकम लेसर एंड सिटिंग डाउन विद द फैमिली एंड प्रेइंग हैज़ बिकम मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट।
यू बिलीव स्पिरिचुअलिटी हेल्प्स? आपको लगता है कि आज के समाज में, और मैं एक कारण इसलिए कह रहा हूँ कि कहीं ना कहीं आप एम्पथी जो है, करुणा जो है, वो कॉन्शियसनेस से आती है। तो मैं आपसे जानना चाहता हूँ, जैसे आपने कहा डोंट ट्रीट योर पेरेंट्स एज क्लीशेस, ये समाज आज का थोड़ा बिखरा लग रहा है। यू थिंक दिस इज इम्पोर्टेंट?
आई थिंक नॉलेज, जो इन्फॉर्मेशन इतनी ज़्यादा बढ़ गई है कि हमको बिखराव नज़र आता है। ऐसा तो है नहीं कि पहले परिवार में माता पिता को इज्जत मिलती थी। जो खराब लोग थे, जो बुरे लोग थे, वो फिर भी अपने पिताजी को ट्रीट ऐसा ही करते थे। हमारी नज़र अनफॉर्चुनेटली अब बुरी नज़र पे ज़्यादा पड़ती है। न्यूज़ हैज़ बिकम, आई एम टॉकिंग टू यू, न्यूज़ हैज़ बिकम न्यूज़ ओनली इफ इट इज़ अबाउट नेगेटिव थिंग्स। अच्छाई की न्यूज़ चलती नहीं है, बिकॉज अच्छाई इज़ बोरिंग।
ऐसा क्यों है, आप मुझे बताइए।
बिकॉज
देखिए, हमको दोष मिलता है कि आप लोग
नहीं,
टीआरपी
मैं किसी को दोष नहीं दे
टीआरपी
रहा
इज व्यूअर ना,
मैं
तो
किसी को
व्यूअर भी
दोष
तो,
नहीं-
हाँ, नेगेटिविटी सेल्स, बैड न्यूज सेल्स फास्टर, ये तो क्लीशेड लाइन है, पर ऐसा क्यों है?
मेरे ख्याल से ऐसा इसमें इसलिए अच्छा है क्योंकि अच्छाई को हम टेकन फॉर ग्रांटेड लेते हैं। जब बच्चा छोटा होता है और वो अपने माँ बाप को या बाप से गाली सुनता है और फिर बात करते करते गाली सुनता है, बजाय उसको डांटने के, अंदर से पिताजी कितने खुश होते हैं कि मेरा बेटा गाली दे रहा है। इट्स इडियोटिक कि इसने गाली दी। ओए नहीं, ऐसा नहीं बोलना, ही इज प्रिटेंडिंग टू गेट एंग्री विद द पर्सन। आई थिंक वी नीड टू चेंज।
नहीं, पर देखिए, आपकी कहानी में भी देखिए, घूम फिर के वापस आपकी स्टोरी पे
मैं गाली देता हूँ, मेरा कैरेक्टर गाली देता है।
गाली नहीं, आपके कैरेक्टर के साथ भी पहले कुछ बुरा होता है, उसके बाद ही इवेंचुअली होपफुली कुछ अच्छा होगा।
जाती है। अगर बुरा ना होता और बुराई के ऊपर जीत ना होती तो रामचंद्र जी के लिए रावण का होना जरूरी है।
करेक्ट। तो
पांडवों के लिए कौरव का होना जरूरी है।
तो क्या यही इंसाइट है कि देखिए कि कुछ इंटरेस्ट के लिए, देखने के लिए थोड़ा बुरा होना जरूरी है, या थोड़ा सा
थोड़ा बुरा होना तो ठीक है, सिर्फ बुरा होना ठीक नहीं है।
आप टॉक्सिसिटी की बात कर रहे हैं, आप बैड न्यूज की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं, आप टॉक्सिसिटी की बात।
हाँ, दैट्स नॉट, आई थिंक
आपको झेलनी पड़ी टॉक्सिसिटी बिकॉज ऑफ किरण जी, her choices, your own thought process, political ideology,
now we have understood the, मेरे को तो बहुत सालों तो ये नहीं पता था ट्रोलिंग क्या होती है, ट्रोल्स क्या होते हैं। पर ऐसा तो नहीं है कि जब सोशल मीडिया नहीं था तो लोग बुराई नहीं करते थे। हमें याद है जब हमारे मोहल्ले में सबके पास ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट टीवी था तो मल्होत्रा जी के घर पे कलर टीवी आ गया, तो हम बाकी सब लोग सड़ गए, करेक्ट, इंक्लूडिंग आवर फैमिली। तो हमने बोलना शुरू कर दिया, ये मल्होत्रा साहब रिश्वत लेते हैं इसलिए इनके घर पे कलर, वो भी ट्रोलिंग थी
जी।
हमारे जो स्कूल में जब जाते थे तो कोई लड़का अच्छे कपड़े पहन के आता था या कुछ अच्छी बातें करता था, अच्छे रेस्टोरेंट जाता था, हम कहते थे अरे बकवास करता है, दिखावा कर रहा है। नाउ इट इज़ अवेलेबल ऑन अ प्लेटफॉर्म। सो शुरू में तकलीफ होती थी, फिर मैंने इग्नोर करना सीख लिया। उसमें टाइम लगता है, मगर वंस यू इग्नोर इट, सोशल मीडिया के कमाल के फ़ायदे हैं
जी।
I today have almost 30 million followers on various social medias.
जी.
I can promote my film like nobody's business.
Yeah, and charge the makers also for it.
No, I think I'll pay them for the movie like Vijay 69. You don't get in a career. Very rarely you get a film like that. I'm one of those fortunate actors who has been given so much love and such great roles from Saransh to Vijay 69 that it's fascinating. Thank God.
Final question.
देखिए, मैं आपको बात करता हूँ
जी।
आपने अपने आप को बुराई से असर नहीं करने दिया ना। मैं आपको इतने सालों से जानता हूँ, यू ऑलवेज कम अक्रॉस एंड यू आर अ नाइस पर्सन. दैट डजंट मीन दैट यू आर नॉट सराउंडेड बाय बैड पीपल जी, बट यू हैव नॉट चेंज्ड जी. सिमिलरली आई हैव नॉट चेंज्ड
जी. देखिए हमारे स्क्रिप्चर्स में ना देयर इज अ रीजन व्हाई इट इज कॉल्ड पद्म पादा और लोटस फीट ऑफ द लॉर्ड. क्योंकि वो कमल जो है इर्द गिर्द कीचड़ होता है, लेकिन कमल सुंदर ही दिखता है. तो वही फिलॉसफी है.
मैं बड़ा ही मंत्रोच्चारण से हुआ हूँ. मेरी सुबह शुरू होती थी कि त्रम किम यजामहे सुगंधम पुष्टिवर्धनम उर्वारुक मंदना मृत्यु मोक्ष मामता. ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः. सरस्वती महाभागी विद्या कमलोचनी विरेशूपी वेशवाला की विद्यादिमति सरस्वती शार्थ जाता मुख्यदाता नमस्ते. अब ये मेरा बचपन ऐसे बड़ा हुआ है. भगवत गीता की कहानियाँ, रामचंद्र जी की कहानियाँ, तो जो मुझे जिससे मैं बड़ा हुआ वही मैंने सीखा है. सो आई थिंक इट्स ए फैंटास्टिक फीलिंग. मैं आज भी चंदन का टीका लगा के घूमता हूँ जी, बिकॉज मुझे बोला गया कि ये केंद्रित करता है, नॉट बिकॉज इट इज ओनली अबाउट रिलीजन और समथिंग लाइक दैट. आई एम टोल्ड दैट चंदन का टीका लगाने से बेटा माथा शांत रहता है जी, और शायद रहता है जी, क्योंकि ये पूरी प्रक्रिया जो है ऐसे डाला, फिर आपने ऐसे लगा, जैसे आप ऐसा करते हैं आपको लगता है कि शांति हो रही है. जब हम ध्यानस्थ होते हैं तो भी आपको बोला जाता है ना कि आप यहीं पर केंद्र तीसरी आंख की तरफ कीजिए. तो यही है जी. बट विजय 69 जरूर देख लेना.
दिस कॉन्वर्सेशन इज फैंटास्टिक. पर मुझे यहाँ पर इसको विराम देना पड़ेगा.
आप जाइए.
पर इस वादे के साथ कि जल्द जहाँ पे हम रुके हैं वहां से इस सिलसिले को आगे बढ़ाएंगे. ये आपसे मैं आश्वासन लेता हूं.
प्रॉमिस रहा आपको. और 8 तारीख को नेटफ्लिक्स पे हमारी विजय 69
one of the first people to watch will be me.
That will be fantastic.
Thank you so much.
And tell the world that to watch it because you will love it. And watch it with your family and with your children.
Done.
They'll all like it.
We'll do that. Thank you so much.
Carry on. Go
ahead. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
एकता दिवस पर सभी देशवासियों को बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं. साथियों, इस बार का राष्ट्रीय एकता दिवस अद्भुत संयोग लेकर आया है. एक तरफ आज हम एकता का उत्सव मना रहे हैं, वहीं दूसरी तरफ दीपावली का भी पावन पर्व है. दीपावली दीपों के माध्यम से पूरे देश को जोड़ती है, पूरे देश को प्रकाशमय कर देती है. और अब तो दीपावली का पर्व भारत को दुनिया से भी जोड़ रहा है. अनेक देशों में इसे राष्ट्रीय उत्सव की तरह मनाया जा रहा है. मैं देश और दुनिया में बसे सभी भारतीयों को, भारत के शुभचिंतकों को दीपावली की अनेक अनेक शुभकामनाएं देता हूं. साथियों, इस बार का एकता दिवस एक और वजह से भी विशेष है. आज से सरदार पटेल का 150वां जन्म जयंती वर्ष शुरू हो रहा है. आने वाले 2 वर्षों तक देश सरदार पटेल की 150वीं जन्म जयंती का उत्सव मनाएगा. ये भारत के प्रति उनके असाधारण योगदान के प्रति
Good evening. Welcome to Brass Tacks. I'm Zaka Jacob. At the outset, from me and the entire CNN News 18 team, we wish our viewers in India and around the world a very happy and prosperous Deepavali. On National Unity Day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was in Gujarat. He echoed Mohan Bhagwat, the RSS chief, and UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath when he accused some within the opposition of misinterpreting the intent of unity. The phrase that the Prime Minister used was "Ek hai to safe hai." This will also be misinterpreted, he said. He accused his critics and people who he called